Hello, and thank you for joining us today. Today, as you have noticed from last week, that we've changed things up a little bit, and we're going to be having a little bit more of a dialogue and more communicating with you guys. And then we're going to have a little bit more dialogue between Travis and myself and the writer from that blog post. Today, we're hearing from Travis. Grateful, Travis, that you're here, who's going to be talking about security and what the Bible has to say about that today. You can read Travis's blog, of course, in the description below. But first, I want to ask for you guys to like this video, if you like it. But then I also want you guys, if you enjoy it, to share this video with your friends. Now, if you click on share and you select the Facebook icon, it'll bring you to your Facebook, and you can write a nice little post about it, but then it'll link and get other people involved and other people engaged with what we are doing here. The other thing I'd like for you to do, please, is if you would also make a comment in the section, in the comment section, and let us know how we're doing. We're enjoying doing this. I'm enjoying filming these and producing these with Travis. We're also enjoying writing for this, and our writing team would love to hear from you if we're going in the right direction, or if you'd like to help make correction or have some dialogue. But it's hard to have dialogue if we're the only ones communicating. So please communicate to us in the comment section below and let us know how we're doing, if you have other thoughts on the subject, or if you'd like for us to expand on the topics that we're talking about. Another thing I want to share with you guys is that our team is already preparing for 2026. We would like to know where you would like this to head. Like, what direction are you interested in this going? And so as we are preparing ourselves in writing for 2026, and we have some ideas, of course, that we will be heading into, but the next several weeks we are talking about what do we want for our audience in 2026. So you are our audience. Let us know where you would like for this to go. So without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Travis. Travis, on your blog post, you had referenced the Old Testament several times. So my quick question is what does the New Testament have to say about security?
Yeah, I did that kind of intentionally because of the scope of what we do on our blog posts. They're not real long. They can't always be as in depth as I would like them to be. We try to keep it brief for our audience, and so my post primarily focused on the Old Testament and how God set up the nation of Israel to be and to provide security for one another and even the outsiders. But the New Testament just only expands and builds upon it. Jesus in the New Testament says that he didn't come to abolish the law, but fulfill it. And so when we look at the New Testament, we need to recognize that it's building upon those Old Testament laws. So what's in my blog post talking about the Old Testament and how God intends for his people to, one, find their security in him, but also be that security for one another. That only is built upon in the New Testament in really dramatic ways. I think of early chapters in Acts 2 and Acts 4, which you kind of referenced in your post last week as well. Those are great, really powerful examples in the New Testament of the church being that security for one another. Nobody had any need because whatever the people had, they brought forward to the apostles, and that was distributed to people as they had need. That is a powerful example of God's people being that security for one another, right? Because when people don't have that kind of security, if hard times come upon them, they're left out on their own trying to figure things out. And now, because of the way God intends for his people to be as the church, we're supposed to find that security in him, but that's provided through one another. God uses us to be that security for other people. And so, the New Testament is chock full of that, of providing security for one another, both physically through our finances, through our resources, but also relationally, just being there for each other, bearing one another's burdens, as it says in Galatians 6. And then also just spiritually, right? God is our security spiritually. We know that we are secure in him and in his love. And the New Testament is chock full of that, of those passages that describe about God's unending love. I think of Romans 8 as just one of those really stark, especially those last couple of verses in it, where it talks about nothing can separate us from God's love. That we know that in him we are safe and secure. And it's from that safety and that security that we have in him, we can go and be that security for others So yeah, that's a little bit of what the New Testament has to say on it.
That's awesome. And so what is the Bible examples that you can think of that you can share with us about what security means for the Christian today?
Yeah, so I think we look at those examples, right? We look at the early church, we look at the laws God gave his people in the Old Testament, and we think, okay, well, that's great. That was then. What do we do now? How does that example affect me today? What does that example set for me today? And, I have to think that we are called to follow in those footsteps that the early church set for us, that Jesus set for us. We are called to continually find our security in God, not in the things we have, not in the, like Israel back in the day, it was finding their security in an army or military. But God always called his people not to find their security in that. And likewise today, we are not called to find our security in our finances, our bank account, how strong we are, how much protection we have, our home security system, our guns or whatever. We're not called to find our protection in that. We're called to find our protection in God, our security in God. And so we are called to follow in those examples in both seeing ourselves as secure in Christ and from there being able to provide that security for others.
That's good. And so how is this a challenge for you?
Oh, man. Yeah, it's a challenge for me because I, like anybody, am susceptible to my own flesh, to my own anxieties, right, of worrying about, am I going to be able to pay the bills? Am I going to be able to get the stuff I want? Am somebody going to break into my house? Is my car going to break down and fall apart? All these things. They're constant anxieties that surround me like they do most anybody else in our society today. And so it's a challenge for me to recognize, like, yes, those are important things. Like being able to be financially stable is important. Being able to physically be safe from harm is important. And that's not something to just dismiss, like, oh, who cares, whatever, right? But I can't let those things overwhelm me. I can't let those things often make me want to be selfish and turn inward and just worry about my own safety and security and not recognize there's people out there who are much more insecure in those areas than I am, and I need to provide that security for them as best as I can, right, as a part of a community. And so it's easy for me to turn inward on those things and be overcome by that anxiety, but being able to take a breath and remember who I am in Christ. And often it's my wife who reminds me of this best and is able to be an encouragement in stressful times, and know that God's got us and we're gonna get through this, and God always provides for us through family, through friends, through miraculous ways, all sorts of stuff. So yeah.
That's good. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, of course.
That's great. So do you live a life that shows anxiety, or that God provides security for you? And so just again, in the comment section, go ahead and share your thoughts on the subject of what Travis has communicated to us today. I think there's a lot of good things that we can learn from this, but also things that we can learn from each other. So again, in the comment section, please share this with maybe 2 or 3 friends via email. I think that will be also helpful for people that would also be helped by this as well. But besides that, we're so grateful that you guys are with us today. Again, like this video, subscribe, all those fun things that you know to do on YouTube. Outside of that, thank you so much for joining us. God bless you guys. Take care.